Well, hello everybody. Some idiot forgot to turn the sound on. I'm gonna have to fire whoever does my editing. Um, they're done. Uh, Welcome to the live stream. We have a ton to talk about. So without waiting too long, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring my very special guest in, from all the way across the pond at 2 a.m. Welcome, Elliot. From
Good
Elliot Edits. What's
morning.
up, Elliot? Good morning, or it's really good night for most of us.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Yes. So, you have been on my live show before, so this is not the first
Yes.
time that you've woken up in the middle of the night to come on and talk about Wheel of Time with me.
No, it's becoming a favorite pastime.
Favorite pastime. I thought, is it frequent and favorite, or is this?
Oh, I'm just usually up at this time of the night, editing, usually.
Editing? Well, it makes sense. That's the
Yeah.
life of somebody making content right now. Well, tell the people who the hell you are, what you do.
Yes. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Elliot Edits, and I'm a wannabe Wheel of Time YouTuber. Just out here trying to make some good content for you guys about the TV show and mostly about sort of adaptation process and mythology and where Robert Jordan got some of his ideas from for the series.
Elliot is like an expert on a lot of things. I mean, he's smart because he's British, right?
It
That just
comes with
comes
the
with the
accent.
territory, right? Yeah, it comes with the
Yeah.
accent. Um, by the way, you'll notice, Elliot, show him your sweater that you're wearing, by the way. He's wearing his American sweatshirt or sweater. And look what I'm drinking out of, my Union Jack teacup. With English tea, by the way, that I got while I was in London.
Oh, nice. Isn't it just better?
I mean, it tastes. Do you really want to know? It kind of tastes the same.
I already know. I know the answer.
Oh yeah, and I see somebody that we were talking about this before we came on. It's a jumper.
It's a jumper. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out. He said, "Look at my jumper," and I was like, "What's a jumper?" And
it's like the crisps. It's like the crisps and chips all over again.
Well, we did get to have that conversation. Let me actually. Here we go. Check this out. So when I was in London, I ran into some Brits at the Crown and Anchor in London. That's actually Critter right there. And then Rob from Malkier Talks. We have Richard from Wheel of Time Theory. And then that guy in the middle wearing a green jumper. Did I get that right?
Yep.
You know what that is? Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, we were at a pub. That's the first
night.
pub I've ever been to.
So, really?
I mean, yeah, it's the first time I've ever been to England. So
it's a great pub. It was good choice.
Was it? I didn't choose it, so I can't take credit. I had to walk like 20 minutes to get to it, but I mean, it worked out. So that was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
It was great.
It was actually really cool meeting some people that make content elsewhere. Like, it was really cool because it's like I feel like we know each other, even though we really haven't met. So, anyways, I appreciate you coming on. Everybody, I had it up and I for some reason took it down. Everybody should follow. Elliot released a video today where he was spitting tea. Was it actually water?
It was, yeah.
It wasn't.
I can't. The state of my carpet afterwards would just have been unforgivable. I wouldn't have been getting that deposit back had it been tea. Goes a lot further than you.
Everybody should follow you on YouTube. Just before we get started here.
Definitely.
You know what? You know what's going to throw me off? I didn't think about this because I was changing up my setup and I don't have the normal speakers that I use. So I'm using headphones today so I can hear you talk. And we just got a tip. Elliot deserves the wig. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull this off.
With the headphones. Surely it almost works like it'll keep it in place.
Maybe. All right, let's try this.
Here we go. It's my Prime Minister.
Yes. I look just like Boris Johnson with this. I should have brought it when I was in England.
Yeah. Then you could have just once gone into the Houses of Parliament. No one would have.
Right. I tried, actually. I tried to go in. By the way, I want to point this out before we get into the Wheel of Time talk. This is the officially licensed Wheel of Time gear. You can get this on Amazon. I bought this the day it came out, and it just got here today. So, Wheel of Time merch. You can buy it. Awesome. Okay.
I know I will be.
Well, we're going to... I mean, there is so much to talk about. We're not even going to remotely be able to scratch the surface of all of the things. So I guess let me ask you this. We'll just start off the conversation this way.
Yeah.
What general thoughts, what were your general thoughts of the first 3 episodes? Positive, negative? Like, where do you sit? In between?
I'm buzzing for it. I was so unsure about how I was going to feel going in. I think part of me was quite daunted by the level of content I thought I'm going to have to get out. But then I was like, just forget all that, go into the... And you know what? I did forget all of that. As soon as it sort of started rolling, I was in it for the journey. I was loving it. And yeah, it kind of... The first episode blew me away. I came out of that one just so excited, and then I forced myself not to watch another one until I'd written the script of the spit take video, because I wanted it just all fresh. So I was keeping episode 2 and 3 just under, and that was a hard day. That was stronger
person than I am.
But yeah, I really loved it. Episode 2 and 3. God, the ending of episode 2, man, that was fantastic. And then episode 3, I felt was a bit more, it slowed down the pace a little bit, focused in on a few more of the relationships, but that twist at the end, somehow I did not see that coming. Despite, once it happened, I was like, yeah, of course that was what it was going to be. I guess
let me say, just because my streams are always this way, but spoilers.
Spoilers,
you can talk about we're going to be spoiling episodes 1 through 3. So if you have not watched the episodes, maybe don't watch, but we're going to be talking freely about everything that happened. So just FYI. Yeah. But yeah, that twist at the end of episode 3, we'll get to that in a minute. That was very well done, because I kind of knew it was coming, but yet still didn't see it coming. Which is saying something. So, but I guess let's go back, because it's interesting, because you're buzzing. I liked it, and again, the first time I saw the first 2 episodes was at the premiere, so I was on this emotional high, because I'm out talking with the cast, hanging out with the cast, bumping fists with the cast, talk to Rafe, bumping into him on the way into our sitting down in the giant IMAX theater that we were in. Which that screen was absolutely enormous. And so then you're seeing it on this IMAX where the sound is cranked, and then okay, so my initial reactions were just I got emotional in the first episode because it's real. This is the Wheel of Time, right? It was super exciting. I came back and I made my non-spoiler review, and then I came down off the high a little bit, and then I had some concerns, but they weren't I think the first episode was the weakest of the 3. And I've talked about that at length in my video. Yeah, I think it was the weakest of the 3. But that being said, it wasn't a bad episode. They were in a catch-22, in my opinion. Okay, because there are 2 routes they could have gone with this. They could have either, the pacing sucked. Let's just put it that way. Let's be blunt about it. The pacing was pretty awful. They could have expanded the character building, do more of the interpersonal relationships, and, expand those things out. However, that would have been great for us. Who I think that would have been awful for our non-book readers.
Definitely.
They would have been bored to tears.
Yeah.
Most people that I hand the books off to don't make it past the first 5 chapters.
Really?
Yeah, because they get
I suppose bored. I could see that. Yeah.
It's not, nothing happens. So they're just kind of right. And TV shows have to have something be the catalyst for things happening there. Like it just has to hook you. So I think, and I think that Eye of the World was always going to be difficult to adapt. Okay, and that's not getting into the changes for the moment. Let's just talk about the pacing. Like taking the changes out of it for a moment. I think that this was always going to be a hard book to adapt because you only really get, like in the book, it's 90% Rand's point of view.
Yeah, definitely.
Which they can't do for the show. So they were inevitably going to have to do other things, right? I don't know. What do you think about that? Did you like the pacing in the first episode?
I really didn't mind it at all. I think, especially because I was watching it with someone who hadn't read the books, so they were really going along for the ride with me, and so I think I almost had their kind of perspective as well. That I definitely agree with you that they needed to ramp it up a little bit for non-book readers because it. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, a scene with Rand chopping wood, sort of thinking to himself, would have perhaps not fit in. And they had to sort of have they had to have Winter Night at the end. Like it was always going to have to be that section, and then you're working backwards. And how much can we fit in before that? Because it was always going to have to be their case.
The only thing I think they could have done, and this is kind of a happy medium, because I don't think they could have done a whole other episode. You know, like you said, the last half of that episode really needed to be Winter Night.
Definitely.
They could have done like an hour and a half long pilot.
Do you know, as I said that's kind of what I was thinking.
But that's still a long time for a pilot episode of a show, right? That you're not invested in. Because the whole time here, they had to be thinking, you know, how do we make this appealing to non-book readers? And here's what I think they came down to. I think they came down to, all right, we're just going to try to get out of the Two Rivers as fast as we can and start the real story. Okay? That's kind of the vibe I get from it. And while I think that it made, when they choose that, I understand that choice. I think it did make the pacing clunky.
Do you know, I wouldn't have said clunky. I thought it moved quite quickly, and I'm a big fan of that in TV shows. Like I'm like, you know, catch me in the first 10 minutes or I'm off. You know, I'm Gen Z. I got that attention span of nothing. I need that instant gratification. So I didn't mind it too much, I have to say.
Well, if you hadn't read the books, would you have stayed watching it?
Would I have stayed watching it? Do you know, I was asking myself this the whole time. There were moments where I just kept thinking, and I had a similar thing with the new Dune movie. I kept thinking to myself, like, if I didn't know what was about to happen, would I be sticking around to see it? And that's why I'm really glad I watched it with a non-book reader, because they really, really loved it and just thought, and were just so eager for episode 2. So I kind of get the feeling that they did do a good job in for a non-book reader.
My family liked it, so like they don't usually like this kind of thing. So I think that it did succeed. Like I think it's hard for book readers, and I think, like, I'm not going to make fun of, like, there's a lot of people out there spouting off stupid shit on the internet right now about, like, honestly, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. There are people review bombing the show. Like dropping 1-star reviews. It's not, no matter what way you look at it. Like, I don't care. That's not a 1-star show.
Not at all.
Right? That's not absolute garbage. Now, you may think it's not a great adaptation of The Wheel of Time, but it's not a 1-star show. Okay?
Not at all.
So there's a lot of people out there review bombing it, which I find quite ridiculous, because I think objectively, like, there are definitely flaws to it, but it's not a terrible watch. Like, there are a lot of people that like it. I think the primary people that don't like it are these book purist people that can't let go of, Moraine's supposed to be 5'2". I can't believe she's tall. Like, you know, those types of things. But that being said, I can understand why some of the people that have not been following the show, like we have, like you and I and everybody in the chat for the most part, we have been following this production for 2 years now. Like, hanging on every word that's dropped anywhere, and talking about it at length. And so
Yeah.
I think for a lot of us, and this is where I'm trying to have empathy, I think for a lot of us, we've had time to come to terms with the idea that there were going to be changes. Like I went into it knowing most of what the changes were going to be. And so I was prepared for that. And so some of the things that I think were more jarring for people that didn't know anything about it and then just saw the show and were like, oh my God, they did what? That maybe don't understand why some of those choices were made. I can empathize with that to a small degree. Now I would also
can
say,
too.
Give it time. Like every show has like every single show or movie that has ever been adapted has massive changes. It's just a part of the medium. It's just how it has to happen.
Yep.
So,
and there's nothing. Again, it for those purists who are sort of like you say review bombing it. What would you have liked to have seen? Like the first 2 or 3 episodes just have been people sort of running out of with the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1 being Pudden Fane sort of coming in like to non-book readers, like that's going to be like, oh look, a peddler, great. That's of course to book fans it's like, oh my god, it's Pudden Fane, like here we go. But that's nothing to someone who's completely new, and that's, you're right, that's where the showrunner's attention kind of has to be, because it is about grabbing a new audience who then will hopefully, if they want more, can go to the books. It's like I said in my latest video, the books aren't going anywhere. We'll always have them. The adaptation and these changes don't take anything away from that. We just have a new version of the story.
And I think that's very well put. Because again, at the end of the day, like, you do always have the books. And it was never going to be... I mean, Lord of the Rings is held up as one of the best adaptations ever.
Yeah.
And, like, the closest of the movies to the books, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Okay, the closest of them is still drastically different. And arguably, that first movie, I hate to say it, is the most boring of the 3.
Yeah, I mean, again
it's like...
Here we keep... I remember watching it. I watched it recently with someone who hadn't read the books. It was kind of like an intro into fantasy. I stupidly put on the extended edition. And it did get to a point 2 hours in where they were like, they're still walking.
Uh-huh. It is what it is. And like fans are always going to see this stuff. Like there is no non-fan of Lord of the Rings that's going, where is Tom Bombadil?
Yeah.
Where is Tom? Like, they don't even know who that is and don't care because, frankly, it doesn't matter in this story.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, it's just, anyways, I love Fellowship of the Ring, to be clear, but I'm just saying this is just what happens. Like, in the people, like, changes are a part of the story. And the Wheel of Time will not need many changes once they get past the beginning. I'm a firm believer in this. I know that people think the opposite. I think most of the changes have to come up front because the setup is harder because Wheel of Time starts so small, but it has to get so big. And a TV show can't follow one group as they traipse across the world.
Yeah.
Like, it can't do that. We can't see Rand and Matt stop at 5 different cities on their way, right? And do basically the same thing in each town.
Yeah.
It's fun to read. It would not be fun to watch, especially for new readers. And so that all being said, I think here's where the crux of it comes. I think we can say there are going to be changes and then disagree with the ones they make. And I fully knew there would be changes I disagree with. So I want to talk about those real quick. I want to talk about specifically in the first episode. Let's start with the one that I agree with. 100%. I'm 100% on board with the changes to Matt's character. And I know 100%. There's a lot of people that are not.
Really?
Chat, I'm interested to see. Let me know what you like specifically to the changes to Matt's character and Matt's family. Are you guys on board with that or not? We'll see what comes up. What were your thoughts on that, Elliot?
One of the best additions and changes I think they've made. I think, and I've been replying to comments today on my video with people saying they love the changes to Matt as well. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because Matt is such a great character later on in the Wheel of Time. Mm-hmm. And I really do believe that there was a point where his character kind of became more fully fleshed out, kind of when he, was revived at the White Tower. It kind of felt like his character got a new breath of fresh air. But you can't have that, like, you can't wait 2 seasons for a character to have more to them than just being a sort of fun-loving, practical jokester. The stuff with his family, the sort of him being the more impoverished one of the group, his devotion to his sisters and having that be his motivation. It's like when he steals the knife in Shadar Logoth now, there's a reason behind that. There's, you can see where his logic is going. It's the same with the bracelet, but it's this one's a bit bigger. Right. And so to give that character sort of like that core of motivation that can then like expand into all his actions just makes them that much more relatable to me. I think I really love the change.
Well, I'll say this on my perspective on it. I love the change because Matt is a notoriously underdeveloped character for the first 1.5 books of the Wheel of Time. I think people that think that they loved Matt at the beginning are typically remembering Matt after, because Matt does some funny things while he's in the Two Rivers, but he does nothing but complain and be Dagger Matt for most of Eye of the World. Like, he's not lovable, he's not funny, he's just a bitch. Like, that's kind of what he is.
He's just like, in need. Yeah.
Yes. And then
we have to save Matt.
Right. And the Great Hunt, he's not really a part of this. He's just along for the ride until he blows the horn.
Yeah, so, he's more of a consequence in that book than a character.
And while, like, we understand why Perrin is who he is. Perrin's bigger than everybody, so he's gentle. He overcompensates, right? Yeah. That's part of the driving force between Perrin, is that he deliberates. He tries to go slow so he doesn't accidentally hurt people. Mm-hmm. Matt is just a scoundrel, but there's no like rationale for that. Like it, and I'm not saying that there has to be, but like for audiences, for television shows, the character, what drives the character becomes important. And so here's why I like this change. I like the change because it accelerates Matt's character growth. So we actually have a rationale for him to do the things he does and to be the person that he is. I wasn't at first a huge fan of the stealing aspect of it, but if that stealing is in support, if it's like the Jean Valjean thing from, you get what I mean? Like I'm stealing to help my family. Like that's a little different. And it does skirt that line with Matt's moral compass, because Matt always has one in the books. Like he comes across very gray sometimes, but he always tends to do the right thing. And we're already seeing that in Matt in the show. Matt tends to choose to do the right thing, right? He runs into the house. His parents are hiding when the Trollocs are attacking, and he runs out into danger to find his sisters, right? Yeah. He steals so he gets lanterns and food for his family. He's going to steal from the Dead Eye Heel to get food for his family. Like, he's doing the right things, right? Yeah. So, any case, I don't mind that change. And for everybody that thinks like they did Abel Cawthon dirty, I actually think that this is a great change for Abel Cawthon, because I think there's a chance now for a redemption arc for Abel Cawthon if they want to go that route.
Yeah.
Now, the change that I am actually, before I move on to that, let's see what some other people in comments think. I am interested to see here, because I know we've had a ton of comments. I know one thing that I'm seeing a lot is it's sad that Barney's not going to be around, because he's doing so great that we all miss him. Like, and it's not to say that Donal will not do great. It's just Barney is doing so great.
Yeah, I will forever be grateful for Barney for bringing this character to life in such a new way and in an unexpected way. I don't know if I was quite expecting this development for Matt's character, but so pleasantly surprised, and the performance is a huge part of that.
Well, I'll say this on Donald. We did a thing on him back when they cast him. His dramatic chops, don't let that smile fool you. His dramatic chops are really good. Like
Fantastic.
Really good. He's in a short film that's amazing, and he does a great job in it. So he's a high-end actor too. I think he'll do
fantastic.
Well. But so I love Matt having a reason to be his rebellious, obstinate self. See, I think this gives a rationale.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me find somebody who does not agree. See, here we go. I got Matt is more broken toy than lovable rogue, is now more broken toy than lovable rogue. So I guess I can kind of see that, but at the same time, like, I don't think he was a lovable rogue in seasons or book 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think we're mistaking. That's just my opinion, at least.
Broken toy to me just to me says like flawed character, and who doesn't want a flawed character?
To the adaptation issues, when they launch a rocket, it's a few degrees off. It's fine initially, but the longer you go, the further and further you are from the target. So I can understand that sentiment. Honestly, I can. However, I actually think these changes early on are so that they can hit the target. And I know that sounds nuts. I think what the challenge that they have is they have to show us this stuff rather than tell us this stuff. Like, we have to see that Matt is a lovable rogue, right? Or that he has motivate. We have to see that stuff. They can't just say it. So what they're doing with these characters is they're giving them rationales to act the way they do. So we don't just go, what? Why are they doing that? Like that kind of thing.
It's the same with Perrin, isn't it? It's we have to. We can't jump into his head and have him just declare, I'm larger than everybody else. I have to be careful. We have to have an action to see that. And I agree with you that I think they are doing this to hit the target later, because like the hints of him having to gamble, let's say at the start of the episode, to try and get enough money to sort of feed his family, that's going to make, when the luck comes in, that much more like of a big change to his life, because
agree.
All of a sudden he's going to be in a position where he can provide for his family without any sort of consequences. Here we go.
And we're back. Okay. Thank you, Duraeus Sadai. I honestly don't think the changes to Matt are really all that material. His family is almost non-existent in the books anyway. Wig. So, yes, agree with that. I do think that it does give Abel. Like, Abel is just Tam Malthor light. In the books, kind of. That's kind of what he is. I think we had another one here. Watt fandom. I don't care about the changes. I just want to watch Wheel of Time. I've read it so many times and listened to it, but now I'm watching it. And I think that sentiment is true for a lot of people. I know everybody calls me a shill. I'm a little bit more critical of it than most, but at the same time, I'm in the same boat. Like, I get to watch Wheel of Time now.
Yeah.
And one thing that I can kind of appreciate is I don't know exactly what's going to happen scene to scene. And I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah. I do want to address one thing, by the way, because I know, Andrew, you said this jokingly before the episode, but I just want to get this out there very clearly to everybody. Like, I am under no agreement with Amazon that I have to give positive feedback. None. They told me, the only thing they told me to do was say what I think. If I thought the show was garbage, I'm allowed to say it's garbage. So I just want to make that very, very clear. The NDAs I signed have nothing to do with my criticism of the show. I don't get anything by saying nice things. I don't get any less or get any more. So, but I was, like I said, I was pretty critical of the first episode. I really was. Now I think episode 2 was much, much better, but I want to get to that in 1 second. I want to talk about Perrin, because
Yeah.
that change I'm not as okay with, but primarily because it's fridging again. Like,
Mm.
and it's not. I think there are a couple justifications for this, and I think fridging is a little less important in the Wheel of Time simply because it's not a story with male protagonists that like we're just using women to advance their stories. Like, there are plenty of strong female protagonists in this story, so it feels a little less impactful to me. But they did
Yeah.
create a character just to kill her,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
definition of bridging. Okay. Now, what I understand the rationale. Like, you do give Perrin now that he went berserker and then accidentally killed his wife. That is a very strong justification, right, for his
Yeah.
later, should I use the axe or the tool or, the hammer, or can I be overprotective of Fail later? Like, those are all driving things. They make sense. They do establish his character. I still, it feels strange to me that we created a wife just to murder her.
Yeah, I'm very much in your boat there. I think that is, yeah.
Now,
I knew as soon as she existed where it was going.
yep. I do, however, there is 2 theories going around now. I want to play a clip.
Let's do it.
We're going to talk about this, okay? And then I'm going to first play the scene at the forge, and I want to get a reaction on this, and then we'll play the last part. So here we go.
Okay.
What are you doing in here? Everyone is at the inn. They said you didn't even go to her ceremony. I love you.
I know.
Okay. When I first saw that scene, I thought one of 2 things. I thought she's either preggers,
Yep.
or she was pregnant and lost the baby.
Yeah. Do you know, I didn't consider that latter, but that's a better way of looking at it, because there are still some unanswered questions with that scene, aren't there, that we've not got back to. I don't know if we will get back to.
I think we will. I think we're seeing. Okay, so part of my criticism of episode 1 was the jumpy nature of it. Like, it felt like there was a lot left out. I think based on the fact that we went back and saw Nynaeve, and we know there are 2 clips that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Nynaeve sitting in her little herb hut. We've got a scene of Rand and Tam in the forest where Tam is hurt. I think we're going to go back and see some of these things that were left out deliberately so that we wouldn't know who the Dragon Reborn is.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more. They laid Chekhov's guns everywhere with Perrin here, and then they didn't pay them off yet. It would be extremely odd to me if they had this whole thing where she wasn't there at a Egwene ceremony. Like, it looks to me like postpartum depression. Before I let you answer, I want to hit on these because I missed a couple super chats. Moosey said, I'm not sure how many times I've said this as a part of replies to YouTube videos, but the source material not only supports changes in different turnings of the wheel, but actually describes it. Flicker, 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 flicker. I added a flicker. Anyone. Totally true. I mean, that's what this is. I look like I have a mullet right now. Hold on.
Rocking it, dude. Rocking it.
Okay. Thank you for the donation, by the way. Hybrid Havoc says, I think people put Matt on a pedestal. I don't understand any read of the morality of the use of his luck that doesn't result in him being seen as a thief. Hot take, but it's probably easy to support that hot take. Like, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But, okay. The only issue, I think there's definitely something to Layla that they have to pay off. Now, I want to play one more clip This is the death of her. Okay. I've slowed it down a little bit. So we'll show this, and then I want to talk about a theory that people tend to be having right now. So here we go. Okay. So, wow. Lots there. First of all, she gets hit right in the stomach, which is also the place where he was holding earlier. So there's definitely something going on with that. Again, Chekhov's gun. But as people are pointing out, she is holding a hammer up high like she's about to strike over a dead Trolloc that's been hacked to death by Perrin.
That Trolloc is definitely dead by that point. Like,
people are suggesting she's a dark friend.
Yes. Yep.
Thoughts on that?
That would be an interesting change. It leads to more questions, because then it's like, you know, did she know about the Trolloc invasion? Is she in cahoots with Pardon Fane? Is that something we're gonna get back to? I mean, I think that would be cool. I'd like that if it was the case.
It would make the fridging a little less of a fridging, right? If she was trying to kill him, and it could have been him being a Ta'Viran that made him do it. Just a thought. I'm not sure what I think of that, because, again, she looks like she's going through some type of postpartum depression, and I'm not entirely sure that she's ready to hit him, because she was fighting the Trolloc, and the Trolloc was trying to kill her.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced of that, but I can see it. Real quick before we keep going. Thank you, Dusty Wheel, Matt Hatch. Congratulations on 30K. Hey, thank you. I hit 30K yesterday, so I appreciate that. Much deserved. And damn, does that wig look amazing with headphones? I'm seeing shades of Samael in ways I find compelling. Also, I can't believe I heard Manfear out in the wild today, so thank you, I guess. I saw that tweet. Matt was asked, and I'll let him tell this story. I think he's going to do a live stream later, but that he was asked on a panel if Manfear could exist across like a male version of Lanfear. And I just find that amazing. So thank you, Matt Hatch. You're the man. Was a lot of fun. Oh, we got one more here too. Rant Almore. Rafe said that she isn't a dark friend, but something is going on that people are wise to notice. So there we go. Which I have not seen that totally, but I mean, again, they're dropping too many little hints that something more is there. I'm going to say something that's not necessarily specific to that piece. I kind of mentioned this earlier. I think there's a lot of scenes that we did not get that we're going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we already know we've got Egwene popping up out of the colored water. Nynaeve was cleaning up after something, right? With Moraine coming. Yeah. So, like, I think that there is I think there's a flashback coming there. I think we're going to see Tam and Rand on the road.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's more coming. I do. I think there's more coming.
And I hope so, because I think that's a nice way of, like, as we were saying at the start, you know, we have to have Winter Night at the end of this episode, but then, you know, being a TV show, you don't necessarily have to go with, you know, a narrative that flows from like A to B. You can jump back in between points. And so it would be nice to get a bit more of Emond's Field that perhaps we didn't see like later on. And then, yeah.
So let me show you another clip. This will kind of spark a conversation, I think. Because this is another thing that is noticed. I'm just going to play this a couple times and let people draw their own conclusions. Here we go. Did you catch that? Or do I need to play it again?
No,
play
I got
it again
that.
for everybody. Those are identical whistles.
That is. I missed that.
Identical whistles. So and that's right before Matt gets up and goes to find the dagger. Now, I don't know that Podon Fane gave him the dagger, but I can also see Podon Fane following them.
Yeah.
But right now there's some crazy foreshadowing going on, and I think that's an awesome piece.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I completely missed that.
There's a lot of that, by the way. I think they're doing what the books do. They're dropping hints that you don't even know are hints yet. Like, again, holding... okay, hold on. What fandom? Where is the other one? I don't know. I haven't found the third one yet. So interesting. I haven't seen the third one yet, but I would love to find that. I'll have to look for it. I've only seen the third episode a couple times. I haven't seen it like 7 times like I have the other episodes. But it's interesting that that's there, and I love that that's there. By the way, I love that. So, in any case, any thoughts on that?
I also love that. I think that is a fantastic bit of foreshadowing. I mean, I think as book readers, we know that Podon Fane is kind of following them, and that's going to be a reveal later on. The fact that they're dropping in clues, because a part of me was thinking like, oh, we could have more clues about this. I when I went back and watched episode 1, then you see Podon Fane sort of sneaking off. Like, his character is such a great part of the books, because it's something I think it really was a kind of clanger drop moment when he shows up at the end, and you're kind of like, oh damn, like that really works. So I think that's a fantastic, and the whistling is a nice touch, creepy touch.
Hold on a second. I think Brian thinks that these theories would make more sense if I had a wig on. So 1 second. Okay. Thank you,
Very
Brian.
nice.
I appreciate you. And then we have another one here from Sherry Ford. The Fade Entering has the same whistling. I'm going to have to go back and check that out. Because I did not catch that, which is awesome. I'm glad there's something I did not catch. I really am.
It gives reason to go back and keep rewatching, which is really good.
Yes, I can't wait. I want to pause real quick because I have to do shameless promotion, because that's what I do here. By the way, Elliot, would you like to come on our podcast sometime?
I would absolutely love to come on your podcast sometime.
Well, maybe you'll have to do that, because you're fun. We need somebody British on the podcast. It just ups the level of sophistication. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
But if you are not aware, I am one part of a threesome. Yes, I said threesome. Tarval and After Dark. We are a podcast with Jess, the Omniland Seat, and Rakapa Sadai from Wheel Talk. We do it's a great discussion. We get into really good stuff. We don't always agree, which is kind of fun, but it's also very comedy based. You can find that at thegreatblake.com/Tarval and After Dark. So I usually will play a commercial, because we do commercials, and it's kind of like we do little bits. I'll usually play a commercial on here. Now, I'm going to give everybody the choice. I can either play the new commercial for tomorrow. I can play. What is it called? I can play Better Call Gaul, if you'd like, or I can play Erotica Sadai's Pleasure Palace. What do we want to hear? Do we want to hear Better Call Gaul? Do we want to hear the brand new commercial? Elliot, what do you want to hear?
I'm gonna go with new.
New one? Okay.
New.
Here we go. Here's the new commercial and its debut. Here we go.
Do you like bumping uglies, but you don't want to make babies? Is it harder for your man to pull out than to take Calendor? Does wrapping your man's junk in pig intestines gross you out? Are you planning a trip to the 9-horse hitch? Introducing Erotica Sedai's Sex Juice. Sex Juice will keep you from becoming pregnant 100% guaranteed. How can we possibly promise this? Well, Erotica Sedai's Sex Juice is made from 100% organic heart leaf extract, sung by an ogier. All you have to do is drink a bottle of sex juice at least 1 hour before you want to do the bad thing, and you are good to go. Erotica Sedai's Sex Juice, keeping the world from repopulating one drink at a time.
Pick up a bottle at your local Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. Not responsible if you get pregnant anyway.
I made the right choice.
I mean,
marvelous, brilliant.
You can
the dragon will not be reborn.
Anyways, shameless plug over. Check out Tarball and After Dark. New episode drops tomorrow, where we talk all about my trip to London and meeting Elliot, and then all about the 3 episodes. So, okay, back to discussion.
Yes.
What was like your? Give me a couple of your favorite scenes from the 3 episodes that we saw.
Favorite scenes. Well, Nynaeve in the pool, brilliant. Mm-hmm. Really love that. I think a lot of it comes, like, for me is whenever I saw something new, like that scene with Nynaeve, it was something that I just wasn't expecting. I had no idea was coming and was so happy was there, because it just gives her character like a brilliant badass moment that otherwise she doesn't have. And also the fact that the other characters think she's dead adds like a really nice dynamic that should pay off later on. Other scenes. I think that, again, the twist with the Dark Friend in episode 3 just felt perfect to me. Like, the performance there was outstanding. Mm-hmm. And that when that penny just drops, that is exactly how like a Dark Friend, sort of the reveal should feel. And it was so good to see on screen. I love how it felt like they kind of combined, because I think, if I'm guessing right, it happens like 2 or 3 times in the book. And I think they just perfectly combined it into one like really great, shocking moment.
Well, the name of that inn was 4 Kings.
Oh, right. I see. That? I didn't catch that, no. I need to go back. I'm missing all the details here. Whistles, pub names.
Brian Mullen. I've watched through the first 3 episodes 3 times now. I have to say I like them the more I watch. And I am a big fan of episodes 2 and 3. And actually, episode 1 isn't terrible, but I love episodes 2 and 3. Big fans. I am a huge fan of what you said. That whole scene with Dana, the Dark Friend, that was just so well done. And I knew it was coming and still was shocked when it was her. I don't know why. But just was the braid too much? Was like the best line. Like, it was. It's not up there with your dress is green, but still.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic, and I think it really gave like an interesting dynamic to the Dark Friends. Like, obviously, we know who Dark Friends are as book fans, but like it was almost like this lack of hatred for it's not like they despise the Dragon Reborn. There's like a new element kind of there to it, with them wanting to like capture him, and I don't know, it made them feel like a bit more tangible, and like a Dark Friend could just exist anywhere in the world, and that could just be a revelation that hits at any time, and that I think adds a real sort of tension to meeting new characters.
What did you think of Tom?
What did I think of Tom? God, they really turned him into a rock star, didn't they? I mean, I did like it. I feel like I haven't seen enough yet to have a full opinion. I was a little bit. I felt like the patchwork on the cloak was a little bit of a. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen it a bit more garish, but I can understand with sort of the tone they're going for, and it does sort of add to this sort of rock star atmosphere that they're giving him, which I'm interested to see how it develops. But yeah, I'm just waiting to see a little bit more of Tom before I fully land on that.
This may be controversial. I really liked I like this grittier Tom, because that's really what they've done. They've grittier.
Yeah.
He's younger, but he's got a little bit more edge to him, which is kind of how he always was.
Yeah, he's worldly. He's there to give the boys a taste of the real world.
I loved. First of all, Alexander Willem is effing incredible. Like I love him. That song, I wasn't sold on it at first. Like it's a good song, but I was like, man, that did drag the tone down. But when Dana's like, all right, are we all gonna cry or do you want to drink? Like that was I don't know. I loved that. I liked the way he was introduced. I like the interactions that he had with Matt. Like those are the types of character moments that made the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones great. Like I can think back to like I'll give you a couple examples in that season where Ned sits down and talks to Cersei, and they have kind of a cordial conversation. Though that drives both. Like you get to see each of the motivators for those two characters. Yeah. You know, those little one-on-one moments, are what made that show great. It's the same thing. Like I want to see more of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that the scene with the Aiel I thought was really, really well done. Excellent bit of exposition dropping, but in a really interesting way, I thought. Like I didn't fully expect to have that level of exposition sort of like wrapped in there, but I thought it was cleverly done, like enough to sort of like throw in a few hints, and then when we see the Aiel, like it's going to have some context, which is good.
Did you like Volda?
Volda. I did. I thought the White Cloaks were great. Actually, they were one of my favorites. I didn't mention it earlier, but I should have done, because that scene was, I thought, really, really well done. Like, I thought the White Cloaks came across as perfectly creepy.
Yes,
I really, really like that.
Abdul Salis is amazing.
He is smashing it. Like that, and the level of detail as well, like the collection of the rings, that's just some really nice kind of like touches, I think. It
does pose the question that they never answered, is how in the hell did a White Cloak capture and cut off the hands of an Aes Sedai?
Yeah.
And how did he kill 7 of them?
Yeah.
But Fork Root is a thing.
Fork Root is a thing, and also I was trying to sort of explain this to the person I was watching it with, who wasn't really aware of the White Cloaks and was thinking like, oh, do they just capture and kill anyone? And I was kind of like, well, it's a bit like, you know, anyone can be a dark friend, and if you torture someone enough, and it's sort of like that throwback to medieval history, and like, if you torture someone long enough, they'll confess anything, kind of thing.
So Kraftka said White Cloaks weren't great and were great. Volda was excellent. However, I can't get behind the explanation of cutting off hands to prevent channeling. I don't think that has been the explanation. Because then again, how would they have caught her to cut her hands off to channel?
Yeah.
That wasn't the explanation. I think it was under, I think it's probably going to be Fork Root or some other way. They knocked her out, something like that. We just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I would get, this is one of those things where I'm going to give it time still. I really am. I'm going to give it time still. But I did like that. So we've got a couple minutes left here.
Oh, goodness. Hours flown by.
Yeah, I know it has, right? I want to pose this question to you.
Mm-hmm.
What are your predictions for episode 4?
Episode 4. I think, right, so where have we got? We've got Perrin and Egwene with the Tinkers, I think their camp is going to there's going to be an attack. I don't know whether it's going to come from White Cloaks, or maybe the White Cloaks are going to jump in, but I'm hoping to see some wolf action. That's priority number one, because I feel like that plot thread's slowing down a little bit and needs to ramp back up.
It absolutely does.
I'm hoping to see maybe Loyal in terms of the Rand, Matt, and Tom plotline. That I think would be great. I'm hoping that the end of episode 4 is going to be the characters sort of like not perhaps coming back together, but in a position where like they're all merging, and like the next episode we know that's going to be the case. And then the Logain stuff. I mean, who knows where the hell that's going? And I personally cannot wait. An escape attempt, get to see some like proper male channeling. That one's like a totally open book. So I'm just so gassed for that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think we're.
How about you?
I think we're gonna see Tom fight a Fade.
Yep.
Now I'm hoping that we get a whole episode of Tom still. I'm hoping that happens at the end and it's not at the beginning of the next episode. Like, I don't want this to be Tom gets in a fight, we think he's dead, they escape, done.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I hope it's done well, but I really want to see Tom travel with them.
Yeah. Teach them some things about the world.
Mm-hmm. I want to see Tom be that conduit to the bigger world for a while. And then I'm hoping that they go to Whitebridge and we get to see Whitebridge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm hoping. I agree with you on the Egwene and like Perrin storyline.
Yeah.
I liked Aram a lot.
Yeah.
I hope the Tinkers get massacred. I'm joking. But I hope there's something that separates them soon. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then with I'm interested to see how because this is a total difference, is what happens with the Logain thing.
Yeah.
You know what?
We knew this was coming, and the Red Sisters interacting with Moraine. Oh my! Go on, bring on Friday. Come on.
Yep. I can't. Well, Thursday for us.
Thursday. Oh my goodness.
Of course, it'll be Thanksgiving here, so I plan on like
lots to be grateful for.
I'm gonna hijack my family's Thanksgiving because they already want to see clips of my trip to London. So I'm gonna show them my YouTube video, and then I'm gonna make everybody who hasn't watched the episodes watch all 3 of them, and then we'll watch the 4th one together.
Yeah. I had a question for you, actually.
Ask away.
What was your favorite bit of London? Speaking of.
So I got a very limited, like they had us like moving along. So I did not get to like explore other than like one day I did. I don't know if you got to see the video I did, but.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
I got to walk around one day and it was just around central London. So I saw basically Parliament and Big Ben and that kind of stuff. I wanted to go see museums but probably my favorite part was so the last full day we were there, they were running the fan event in London. So the UK version of Amazon was running the fan event, and they did it at the Tower of London. So they did a showing inside the White Tower, which is the keep inside of the Tower of London, which is really cool, by the way. And the people that work there are warders. Just saying. But that was probably the coolest part because I was walking around a castle that is 1,000 years old.
Yep.
And it's huge and it was cool. We don't have castles here. So like that was really fun. Awesome. And it was really fun to watch the Wheel of Time in a historic place. So that's where I saw it the second time. But that was a lot of fun. I definitely want to come back to London. I don't know that it's a place I'd want to live.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Spenny.
It's what?
Spenny.
Yes. Well, you know what it feels like to me? It's a cross between the size and scale of New York, but like the design and layout of Washington, D.C.
Okay, that's a cool way.
Like
Yeah.
it's laid out very similar. Like the buildings feel similar. DC is more of a European city than it is an American city anyway. So
Yeah.
anyways, that was my favorite part, man. Wait, I take that back. All of this is wrong. My favorite part was meeting you.
Oh, that's what we were waiting for, everyone.
Is that what you were
That was
fishing
it.
for?
Yeah, totally. Took you a while. God.
Okay, I
But
have to say this. Andrew just said, "How is the weather?" So, funny thing here. First of all, the weather was actually really good when I was there. Oops.
Yeah.
But what I thought was really funny, Brits love to ask about the weather. Everybody
Yeah,
I
we
talked
do.
to was asking me, "What do you think of the weather?" Or they'd be like, "Make sure you put a jacket on; it's going to be chilly." Or "Make sure you bring an umbrella; it might rain." Or everybody wanted to talk about the weather, which I thought was hilarious. The other thing that took me until the end of the trip to actually finally totally understand. So here in America, the etiquette is that you walk on the right side of the sidewalk.
Okay.
So you walk on the right side, as you would call it, the pavement, because
Yeah.
we drive on the right side, you walk on the right side. I noticed in London, I'm walking on the right side and I keep running into people. And I'm like, oh, wait, I wonder if they walk on the left side. So I started walking on the left side of sidewalks, but people were still getting in my way.
Yeah.
So what I found out is that in London, people just walk wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's more of a weaving technique you have to develop going into it. It's all elbows and jagged stuff. I just wanted to say, on behalf of like all fans, like everyone's coverage of everyone who was at the premiere and live streaming and doing that, I want to say thank you, because I think you guys made it so you made it fantastic in the sense that the fans were allowed to feel like part of this like blue carpet event, and it was just really, really epic to have like that window into that world. So I want to say thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It was kind of crazy. Like the little the place that they had us standing
looked a bit cramped.
It's it was like a 6 foot by 6 foot box that we were all standing on top of each other.
Yeah.
Trying to like film. Yeah, that's why like you'll see my ass in Critters like constantly, and then like we were trying to like half interview people together, and we thought we were gonna have way more room. So, but yeah, it was a cool event. I'll tell you, it's really nuts talking to the feeling that I got. And I guess I'll say this. First of all of the crew or the cast watch all of our videos, which is surreal and weird. And like, they don't watch every video we release, but they actually watch us. Like, they follow us. Zoe walked up and goes, "I know you," and smiled at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I know you more. But like, that was real. Like, that was cool. You know, and just getting to like walk around, like we were talking to some of the cast after. This is nothing you're going to see on video, but like after the showing, we were all hanging out in the lobby of the theater, and we're just casually walking. Oh yeah, hey, there's shake your hand and talking to people, and like it's just a surreal experience. And all the younger actors, like this is the biggest thing they've ever done.
Yeah,
and like they're super excited about it, which was just really, really fun. I want to quickly hit this. Jennifer, who is always awesome. Jennifer Wood's one of my favorites. Nynaeve sneaking up to Alan. What am I missing? Oh, to Lan. Okay. I was like, Alan.
To Alan.
Yeah, I love that. I thought Nynaeve, that's a great setup, by the way, into the like their chemistry. They already have more chemistry now than they did in the books, in my opinion. So yeah, Jennifer, thank you so much. You're always so generous, and you're the best. There we go. She said, "Lan, I hate autocorrect." I've been there. I was like, Alan, who is Alan?
Watching it back, like, where's Alan?
But yeah, no, that premiere was so much fun, and the whole event. Amazon was great. And again, I want to repeat this just because I think people think this. Like, they really wanted us to give our honest feedback. This was not, they were not asking us for good reviews. They did not limit what we could say, what we could do. Like, I want to say that to everybody who maybe thinks that, like, not the case. They just really wanted fan involvement. And I think they've gone out of their way to try to engage with Wheel of Time fans in a lot of ways. Like, that's where all these premieres were popping up all over the world. And I want to thank them for doing that, because it's something that they didn't have to do. They didn't. So anyways, thank you for coming on, man. Where can these lovely people find you again?
They can find me on youtube.com/ElliotEdits. There it is. I can see it on screen.
Everybody, go give Elliot a follow. He makes great videos.
Thank you.
He released a great video
more coming.
today. And more of them are coming, we hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Backlog of editing work. I might as well just stay up now and finish editing the next one. Yeah, I might as well, you know.
Well, hey, everybody, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream. We will be in the Discord server after this, or at least I will be after a little bit, chatting up like we always do after this. Elliot needs to go back to bed. But,
yeah, possibly.
But yeah, if you want to hop into Discord, click the link in the description of the video to get added into Discord, and we'll chat in there. Can't wait to talk to all of you. Thank you for coming on, Elliot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.